Good morning, everyone. This is Andy here on the Lawson Farm, and today I'm going to be working on my transfer pump on my fuel tank here for the off-road diesel fuel. I don't know if you can see it there. We got, actually this is one of the cheap eBay pumps. Thought I'd give them a try. I bought this thing for $155 on eBay, and so far so good, but since then I've had a few problems. Cracked, now this one is one we don't need, but I cracked, there's fuel everywhere, the inlet for the fuel separator, or for the fuel filter, cracked on me and it was leaking. You can see right there, there's a crack. That thing would just gush fuel out. So got to get that fixed, because I'm getting ready to fuel the tractor up and go do some bush hogging. So what we've got going on, and the reason I'm making this video is to kind of show you I want to show you how spending just a little bit of money up front can save you thousands of dollars probably in the long run, because I learned the hard way. I bought this tank here. This tank here, it's just a little 50-gallon tank. I've got it sitting on the back of a little Nissan pickup, and that's about all I use this truck for anymore. It's just to go get fuel and maybe run a few errands and stuff. But yeah, I wanted a 100-gallon tank, but it just so happened I come across this tank. I came across it on OfferUp, I believe it was. But it was $100. Had a pump, the tank, and a little cheap pump, and of course the hose and the nozzle. And I thought, what the heck, $100, I was going to try it. And it looked like it was in pretty decent shape, so I give it a shot. Well, I used it for one fill up. Did not have a filter on it, and I filled up every piece of equipment I had here at the time. I had 2 tractors. Well, I think that was just it at the time. I had 2 tractors. Both of them stopped my fuel tank plumb up. The little spout that comes down out of the fuel tank where the actual fuel line bolts to was stopped up. I had the awfulest nightmare. I finally ended up having to take the tanks off and clean both of them out on both tractors. But lesson learned, didn't cost me much money. It was just a whole lot of time and aggravation. But if you do get dirty fuel into your tractor or anything you fill up out of this, you can cause a lot of problems. Injectors, injector pumps, and just a lot of aggravation, really. So today, just in case you don't already have one of these on your tank, I'm gonna show you how to put it on. Nothing special at all. Nothing at all. So first off, I've got this special tape. It's not like regular pipe thread tape. This is made for diesel fuel and for gasoline, so you need to make sure you use the right kind, because if not, it'll leak. The fuel itself will actually eat away at the tape, so you need to use the right kind. Anyways, it just goes, obviously, most likely if you've got a fuel tank, you already know how to wrap tape around the threads, but if you don't, you just wrap it around the same exact way you'll be screwing, so it doesn't come unscrewed as you're putting your new filter on. And just to kind of give you an idea, before, mine comes straight out right here. I had the pump that was on here went bad, and I did replace it with this pump, but even before that I had to put the filter on, and it comes straight out of the pump and runs straight into the fuel hose. And so it was, any trash or anything was getting sucked straight up out of this tank into my tractor tank. And I don't know, it's just something I didn't think about, honestly. The guy that I bought it from had been using it that way, so I didn't think nothing of it. But anyways, I went to Tractor Supply yesterday evening and picked up a new one, because like I said, my housing busted on this one. I picked up a new one. It was $26. And $26 can save you a lot of time and aggravation. It comes with the housing and a brand new filter. So there's your filter. Some paper. here is the housing to mount the filter. Alright, right there. Now if you pay attention, you can see there's an in and an out. Make sure you put the part coming out of your pump on the inside. I've already got it wrapped in tape. Now the threads on these are just normal pipe threads, and you can take a big adjustable wrench or a pipe wrench, whatever you have, just use to tighten it up. Nothing really special, just, or even I guess you could use a big pair of pliers. Now you don't want to tighten it too tight, because I think that's actually what happened to my old one. Was when I put this new pump on here, because it wasn't broke till then. When I put this new pump on here, I think I tightened it too tight and busted it. So I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that that's what it was, and it wasn't water in it causing and froze and busted. But then we'll take our new filter. Now you can buy these filters. I know this tank was apparently so dirty that my first filter I had on here clogged up in no time. But this is just a regular fuel filter. It's, like I said, this came from Tractor Supply too. And this came all together in one kit. So they do make these filters with a water separator on them. I hadn't really had a problem with water in my fuel yet, so I hadn't bothered with doing that. Now those type of filters do cost a little more money. You can just hand tighten that and be fine. I'm gonna put this old one here, set it in the bed of the truck for now. Now I've got to get my hose. Now this particular hose I don't really like. I wish it had the longer threads on it, but instead it had like the tapered threads that would tighten up, but instead it's got just a short thread on it with a rubber O-ring. Now with that rubber O-ring, I really don't need to put any tape around it, but I'm going to anyways, just to, I kind of like to do it once and do it right. But this is the hose that came with the cheap eBay pump. And so eventually I'll probably replace this with a better hose, but for now it'll work. It's actually a better hose than it had on it from the beginning. But even with having to replace this pump and buy that filter housing and everything, I've still come out cheaper than if I'd have went and bought all this stuff brand new, because the tank alone was it was a few $100s just for the tank, just for one of these little 50-gallon tanks. Now I'll give you a little tip when you go to screwing one of these hoses, because there's nothing, when you screw those threads you have to screw everything, the whole length of the hose and the nozzle and everything that's out there. So when I go to start, I'll twist it back this way just a little bit to kind of get some pressure built up. And then as I go to twist in to tighten up, it's not quite as hard to get everything twisted, so it gives you a little bit to start with. Once you get it in there, you're fine, and you can twist the whole thing. But see, that's the reason I don't like this O-ring. I don't know if you can see this or not, but that O-ring just come out right there. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I hope it does. It's all I've got. I really hate to go buy a brand new hose just to fill up my tractor right now. That's why I put the tape on here. Maybe I can take the O-ring off and the tape will actually seal right. Maybe I can get it to seal right. Yeah, I didn't really exactly like this design with the O-ring on there. I thought that was kind of crappy. But I mean, it was an eBay pump, so you can't expect something too great. Now, one thing I want to ask, leave this down in the comments below if you know. But what is a good way to get diesel fuel out of your clothes? Yesterday when I was working on this pump and I took it apart, I got diesel fuel all over my brand new Carhartt overalls. And I've already washed them, got them out of the dryer and everything this morning. Guess what? They still smell like diesel fuel. So if anybody knows a good way to get that out, let me know. Leave that down in the comments below. Hopefully somebody knows. That's a tip I'm sure a lot of people would love to know, just because if you work on a farm or you work around construction equipment or anything, you're going to eventually get diesel fuel on your clothes. It's just a given. It comes with the territory. But that's all it is to putting a fuel separator, a fuel filter on your tank here. And like I say, they do make these with a water separator, and a lot of people have problems with water in their fuel, and it depends on where you buy your fuel. You got to make sure you get some good clean fuel. But for now, this is definitely better than nothing. I wouldn't, now after doing what I've done, I would never have a fuel tank or anything without a filter on it. It's just, for 26 bucks, you better go ahead and do it, because it's going to save you a lot of time and aggravation in the long run. But just wanted to give you a little tip this morning, and something to think about. Somebody else could be just like me and bought a tank off of Craigslist or somewhere and not have a filter on it. If you did and you hadn't used it yet, you better go ahead and put a filter on it. Just a little word of advice. But I appreciate you watching the video, and if you like seeing helpful tips and stuff like this, and anything farm related, lawn care related, we're going to be doing a little bit of everything on the channel. But anyways, hit that subscribe button and watch so that way you'll know when I have new videos. But as always, thanks for watching.